Yo, Guda, is this fucking mic on? Man, welcome to the GINN podcast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Yes, sir. Welcome to the GINN podcast.
What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the GINN podcast. This is your host, Gilbert Sanchez. If you're new here, feel free to call me G. I had a friend the other day to tell me about a situation where they mentioned my name, and them pronouncing my name just sounds fucking horrible. So you can just call me G. That's why I started having people call me G. But yeah, I believe this is episode 61. Yeah, episode 61. Last episode, we had Kira and we had Janelle on Do You Sis podcast. So shout out to them. Hilarious fucking sisters. If you're watching this, go ahead and watch this and then watch that one too, because like I said, you're gonna get a good laugh at that one. But yeah, guys, this is I always say this, but I record episodes in kind of a couple episodes within a couple of days. So every so often I'm not in the studio. So it's always weird coming back and putting up shop and setting up all these things. I always forget something. But yeah. And shout out to Lydia because she's always on her grind taking pictures for me. So shout out to her. But man, on this episode, I was talking to him literally right off air before this and been following the movement for a while. Huge. I think in my eyes, it's a huge movement within the San Antonio community. And it's just a dope fucking place, to be very, very honest with you. But I got James on here. What's up, James? How you doing?
What's up, man? I'm feeling good. How are you?
I'm good, bro. Appreciate you asking, dog.
Yeah.
But
Did they not ask?
No. Some people, I'm going to be honest, some people don't. But I think, like going back to what I was talking about, them being nervous, I think some people are just nervous, man. They just don't know what to say.
Yeah, gotcha.
So it's kind of, they just kind of say, I'm good. And then we just keep it chopping. But
Gotcha.
I mean, you learn over time you can feed off of people's energy. You can know who's going to be, who's a good conversation. Not to say that they're bad, but some people are more I guess more talkative than others. And that's just how it is. But
yeah.
if you don't know who James is, and we can get into a little backstory, but he owns a shop called the Vaulty. It's a vintage, would you say it's a vintage thrift shop?
I wouldn't say we're a thrift shop, but we're definitely like a vintage and sneaker store.
Oh, okay. So yeah. Vintage and sneaker store. But most of the stuff or what would you say kind of put your name on the map? Like, would it be the sneakers? Would it be the vintage part?
I definitely think I got my start with the vintage, and then we started doing more like streetwear, sneakers, accessories. So it's kind of like a one-stop shop for anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has that always been your interest?
Man, you know what? I've been into clothes since I was a little kid. I remember being like 10, wanting to like emulate little Bow Wow, little Romeo, like wanting to wear the tracksuits and stuff. So I've definitely been into clothes my entire life, I could say, yeah.
How would like, because when you go to, I guess, vintage or just fashion in general, what was the kind of your main, I guess, brand that you messed with whenever you were younger?
Oh, like, man, when I was younger?
Because I always, like, I've asked that to somebody before and they say Champion. Obviously, Champion wasn't what it is now. Because, I mean, you can purchase Champion like in Walmart.
Dude, that's such a tough question for me because I don't know. I grew up loving so many different things and having so many different phases. Like, it's hard to say one particular brand that I've always gravitated towards, but I guess Nike would have to be,
the top.
Yeah.
Are you into sneakers as well?
Yeah, I'm into sneakers. Yeah.
Have you like? Do you have a collection?
I have a collection. It's not the craziest collection though. Honestly, I do not take care of my shoes. Like, I'll spend $1,000 on a pair of shoes and then just destroy them. So
see, that's the part that, no, man,
I hate to call myself a collector for that reason, because I know people who are just so meticulous about keeping their shoes clean and organized. But like, if you go into my closet, there's just shoes everywhere and they're dirty. So,
bro, I feel that because you get into the sneaker, I guess the sneaker game now, people don't really like yeah, I think they're called force fields or force shields, just
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you can
yeah. So
not
they don't
crease.
crease.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so they don't
yeah,
crease. Obviously the shoe cleaner, but just different things to keep your sneakers clean. But in my eyes, bro, I wear all my shoes
exactly. You
too.
have to
I
wear
literally
them.
wear all my shoes. All mine have creases. It's yeah, man. It's different for me because I knew growing up that I can only get a pair of shoes or two pairs of shoes per year, sometimes even one,
Yeah, yeah.
and that was a struggle. So I knew I had to
Make them
yeah,
last. Take care of them.
make them
Yeah,
last,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I was so used to wearing, like, one pair of shoes, and now where I can afford other sneakers,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, "Fuck, might as well wear these too,"
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
and they're
exactly.
nice, but, so the Vaulty, man,
Yeah.
how did you even come up with the name?
So to be honest, the name was made by a former business partner of mine.
Okay, okay.
So my name on Instagram was formerly 210 Vintage Thrift. So it all started, or how I started doing what I do is, I made a little Instagram page like in 2015 just to kind of document my thrifting, and then people kind of liked it. They're like, "Oh, damn, is any of this for sale?" And I was like, "All right, cool." So
Yeah.
started selling it. So then I linked up with my former business partner, and he had already kind of had that name. So we joined forces, and we don't do business together anymore. He's since left the company, but shout out to him. So he kind of created the name, but the idea behind it though was kind of like Gucci or Fendi, and how they all have this eye at the end.
Yeah,
It's almost like a, I don't know, just a little characteristic that we wanted to associate
yeah.
into the vault. So vault meaning like, something in the vault. Um, so yeah, vaulty.
Yeah, just like I would say like kinda similar to like a bank, right? Where it just has that
Yeah, yeah,
storage room in the back, I'm
yeah, yeah.
assuming?
Exactly, exactly.
No, but that makes sense 'cause it's catchy, man. Like I don't have you ever heard someone like call it anything else?
No, no.
Because
I mean, well, there's definitely some confusion that used to happen because my personal Instagram
mhm.
was 210 Vintage Thrift. So people would call it like 210 Vaulty,
Oh,
or,
okay, okay.
stuff like that. But I think people really like the name because it's just a name, and it's not really like, it's like a made up name, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
So
It's not
yeah.
s well, is it associated with anything, or is just, a name that your former business partner just made up?
Yeah, yeah. It's not
Okay.
associated with anything at all. So it's just
Yeah,
its
yeah.
own kind of name.
When did you actually open your first shop? Because 'Cause I'm assuming did you start off were you doing, like, reselling or selling vintage before you even opened the shop?
Yeah. So all right, let me just take it
Yeah,
back. So
yeah,
like
yeah.
in high school, thrifting was kind of like a big hobby for me. I would skip school to
Hell
get to
yeah.
certain sale days, and I was just crazy about it. But then I wasn't reselling. I was literally just wanted to find stuff for myself. And this was like the snapback era. So,
Oh,
people were
yeah.
like snapback crazy. So I always wanted to go and find snapbacks, vintage champion jerseys. Those were kind of my things in high school. So fast forward, I get out of high school, go to college. I was there for like maybe 2 months before I was like, yeah, college is not for me. Like I hated sitting at a desk,
Yeah.
and it wasn't for me. I like being creative, and it was just soul crushing being in college. So anyway, dropped out, started waiting tables. Well, actually I'd been waiting tables the
Throughout
whole
the time
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
throughout the
yeah.
time.
I started waiting tables when I was like 15. So yeah, so I was just broke. I dropped out of college. I just had my first son. And I was like, man, I need a side hustle. So I don't know. One day I went to a thrift store. I found a jacket. I was like, man, like people need to know that you can go to the thrift store and find this kind of cool shit.
Mhm.
So I made the Instagram, and at first I was like, I'm just gonna document it. Like I thought it was cool to document everything that I find, or that I find. Because I was hitting the thrift stores like every single day just for myself.
Yeah.
Like I just wanted to find stuff. So um, yeah, anyway, it was supposed to be a hobby, and then people wanted to start buying some of this stuff, and then it just kind of gained traction. And before I knew it, I was like, oh damn, I can like quit my job. I can, just work from home, sell online. So I was doing that for a little bit. And then I linked up with my former business partner who I was talking about, and we rented out an art studio at
Gotcha.
yeah, yeah. It was at this art complex called the Hausman Millworks. It used to be it's kind of like this, where it
Mhm.
used to be a factory and it was converted into art
Yeah.
studios.
Space, yeah.
Yeah, so we would run like by appointments out of there. So we maybe had 4 racks with all of our stuff, and oh man, like such humble beginnings. Like our thing
Yeah.
didn't even have a roof. Like it was so
Yeah.
funny. But yeah, so that's like I guess technically the first store that we opened, but it was just by appointment. We were there for about 6 months, and then we moved into our smaller, our I guess our first like store, real store. And yeah, so that was like 2017
Okay.
when we opened up that store. Yeah.
So it's been about 5 years since you actually, well, a little bit longer because you got the little space, but
Yeah.
more or less 5 years from an actual retail shop thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Can I add, or why did you, why was it appointment only? Was that based off y'all schedule? Because y'all had,
It was privacy for there was artists in these studios.
oh, okay, okay.
So
okay.
it's like they just don't want random people walking around the
Yeah.
complex. Cause yeah, so that's why we had to do it by appointment.
Yeah, that makes.
You had to like, we had to buzz you in, walk you in,
Oh,
escort
so it
you
was-
in the
okay.
building. So yeah, it was that kind of situation.
Gotcha.
But the entire time though, we were using like Instagram to promote ourselves. So
Mhm.
I started this little catchphrase. I don't do it anymore, but like my employees do. But it's like, good morning and happy Monday to you.
Mhm.
It's another beautiful day at the Vaulty, yada yada. So we're in an art studio. No one's gonna see us. So we're like, let's get on Instagram, and every morning I'm gonna be like, good morning and happy Monday to you. It's another beautiful day at the Vaulty. Come and pull up on us,
Yeah.
yada yada. So from that, I mean, we just started getting people like, oh, hey, can I come book an appointment? Can I book an appointment? And after a while, the studio owners were like, all right, guys, this is getting kind of like out of hand. This really isn't by appointment anymore. People are just pulling up. Like,
Oh, dang. So they
yeah.
just started noticing.
yeah, so we started like, I don't know, once we opened up that little spot, we started getting a little buzz really, really
Mhm.
quick. So we were like, man, this is cool. So started making some money, and then we saved up and got the next store.
That is crazy. So I got a question. When you first went into the shop, do you remember the actual like location name? Like where was the first retail shop at?
Yeah, it was 801 West Russell.
801 West. Okay.
Yeah,
The only reason why I asked is because the saying you're talking about, I think that's when I first started following the Vaulty shop.
yeah.
But another question that I have is, how do you feel about the being consistent part? Because I'm
Yeah.
sure there was times where you didn't want to make that video. So
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I think consistency is key, and I think I owe that to all of my success. So that little catchphrase, it started because I needed to let people know we were open, that they
Yeah.
can book an appointment, and then it just became it just became a thing that we do.
Yeah.
So, but there's definitely those days that where you're just not feeling it, or whatever
Mhm.
whatever the case may be. But you just kind of have to push through it. Like I did that saying like 365 days in a row,
Shit, yeah.
and it got burned into people's head. Like people still remember that. Like I said, I don't do it
Mhm.
anymore because I operate our social media different now. But yeah, I mean, there's people who literally know the whole
Yeah, what
catchphrase
you
or
say,
whatever.
yeah.
And I was like, man, this is kind of like it's kind of like a jingle, like a
Mhm.
commercial jingle. And so I don't know, that it started with the little catchphrase, and then I was like, man, I want to dive heavier into social media and try to understand it, and
Mhm.
figure out how I can just get better at it. So yeah.
How has that been though? What changes within yourself have you seen within social media? Because obviously is I mean, YouTube was around at that time. Pretty much every social media except, I would say, except TikTok.
Yeah.
So how has that been for you? Like, was being on camera a little weird at first?
No, dude, you know what? Like I was a theater kid growing up. I've
Okay.
always loved making silly videos.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's kind of what I do. Like I love making silly videos with my friends. Like, so yeah, I was never nervous, but definitely, going into new platforms, it took me like a year to figure out how to make my TikTok work for me.
Mhm.
What kind of content do I need to put on my TikTok to get results? So
What content works best for you? What have you
dude,
seen?
I think funny content, like
Yeah.
making silly videos with my friends, like that's
Yeah.
just what does best for us, and just become a part of our brand. Like people know us to be kind of funny and make
Mhm.
silly videos. So we have like hundreds and hundreds of TikToks that are they're just funny.
Yeah. I think that's what people catch on to, is like, I was talking about this on my last podcast, is that I'm sure with that is that's y'all's everyday life. Like I'm sure
Yeah.
y'all just do funny shit
Yeah.
nonstop. So
Yeah.
I think that's what people are really attached to, is just so pure and so genuine that you can't really find that anywhere else. I mean, I'm sure you can tell when people make TikTok videos, and you can just tell they're scripted or they're practice or
Right.
some shit. I'm assuming some shit like y'all's is just off the top.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's
no, no.
just
We're like, oh,
freestyle.
that would be funny. Let's
Yeah.
make a TikTok about it
Yeah.
right now. And
Yeah.
it's so funny, man, because our employees have like a job like no other. Like they get paid to make TikToks, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like But we take our social media super, super serious. So.
It's a huge deal, man. I think that's what I noticed with this is if you don't really put in the consistency part, you won't see results.
Yeah.
That's 100%. So
Yeah.
there was a point in time where I was uploading videos like every week and a half, every 2 weeks, and I wasn't getting much attention until not attention, but I guess support until I started putting out um, once a week, and then from there you just see the support a little bit more, and then people start catching on,
Yeah.
and I think that's what I think in my eyes when what that tells me is just people see the consistency, so they're like, "Damn, if he can do it, I can do it too,
Yeah,
probably."
yeah.
So,
One of my old mentors would tell me is like people love to see you doing well,
yeah.
and people want to support that. So if they see the growth, they're like, "Oh man, this is
Mhm.
cool. Let me support as well." So
Yeah.
people love to see other people, get better at what they do
Mhm.
and just level up.
Yeah, yeah, that's 100%. Um, with your group of friends, because you just mentioned this, how long have you known each other? Have y'all been like a crew for
Um,
years
yeah,
or?
yeah. So I mean, everyone kind of came in at different times, but when we started our business, it was just myself. I didn't have any employees, and then once we started getting busier, I was like, all right, that's fine. Let's find some people. So we have a group of core guys that have been with the company since 2017 at our first location. And I mean, they were just our customers. And
Mhm.
then we were like, hey, do y'all want a job? And then, they joined the team
Yeah.
and now we've just become all like brothers to each other. So, but everyone's just kind of trickled in, man. We have 9 employees in total. But four of them have been around since,
Mhm.
the old days. So
So
yeah.
with these, I guess, crew members, boys, friends, employees, with y'all being so close, how does the uncomfortable conversations go whenever I would say pay or whenever you're talking about work,
Performance.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
performance.
yeah.
So how does that work whenever you get so close to a group of friends?
Honestly, we're all highly motivated and we just have these standards that we all expect of each other. So that's something that we're really good about is keeping each other motivated.
Hmm.
So if one of us is slacking, we're all very good about just talking through it. Like, hey, you need to work on XYZ. And it's never an ego thing. Everyone's like, we just want to make the best possible outcome happen. We want to have the best store. We want to have the best product. So everyone's just got the same goal in mind. So it's really easy. And a lot of people ask us like, is it hard, working with your friends? But
Yeah.
I mean, it really isn't. It's cool because we all have the same end goal. So
Are y'all around the same age?
um let's see, our two managers, Kenny and Carlo, were like 23, 24.
Okay.
So they're a few years younger than me. And then a lot of our other employees are like 21,
Mhm.
20. So yeah, I guess we're fairly close in age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's still even because I'm sure there's a lot of things that you can teach the younger ones that they probably
Yeah,
have no
absolutely.
idea
Yeah.
about.
A lot of the people that come to the Vaulty, man, like so many kids want to work for us.
Yeah.
And it's super awesome. Like when we say, "Hey, we're hiring," we'll have like a line of 100 kids,
Oh
like
shit.
like trying to fill out an application to get a job. But um, I don't know. We look for people who are really, really motivated. Because we don't want to have any. I don't know. We just want good energy. We want
Hmm.
people who have the same thing as us in mind. And when we hire people, I try to look at their strengths. Like I've literally hired people because they knew how to make TikToks. I'm like, all right, cool. I can put you in a
Yeah, yeah,
position
yeah.
where you like to make TikToks. Cool, make TikToks. There's people who are just really into clothes and sneakers, and they're super knowledgeable. I'm like, cool, you like that? Check out the sales floor.
Yeah.
You'll be here. And so, we just try to hire with that kind of in mind. Like, how can we integrate you into the team where you love your job? You're not gonna drag your feet about going to work. You'd
Yeah.
be excited to go. So
How do you come about that your mindset with it's just being an owner or being a manager of people, because obviously that's not something that is taught. It's definitely, in my personal opinions, you got to experience some
oh
stuff like
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
unless you have a mentor or anything like that. But have you always been like that, like I guess a good leader?
I don't know that I've always been a good leader,
Yeah.
but having the shop definitely forced me into that direction where
Hmm.
it's like, okay, I have to manage people. I have to show people how to manage my money when I'm not here, and it's just something that comes with owning the store and having so many employees. You just kind of learn how to balance different energies and utilize people in the right way, and yeah, so
No, yeah, that makes sense because you, like I said, you for me, it's that was one of the struggles going into, I guess, this right here is like you got, because I have different people that do different things, and I guess the communication skills is very uncomfortable at times because
Yeah.
you gotta, if there's a certain deadline you want to have, you gotta let them know, hey, this is the deadline I want to do. If there's an issue or if we have a problem, like please just speak up now, because there's certain, if there needs to be, I guess, just assertiveness whenever it comes to just deadlines. But I mean, I think in your case it's a little bit different because you're, I mean, your employees are just motivated, so
Yeah.
they're, I'm sure they're feeding off your energy too as well.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And
hey,
that's why,
because
you know, putting them in the positions that they shine the brightest in means so much to me because I know that they'll stay motivated
yeah,
because they love what they do. It's not like they have like a we always joke about this, like it's not a real job, but it is, but it isn't.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Everyone's getting to do what they love. And um so I get that though too. It's like communication is
yeah,
another big thing. So um, you know, the division of power in our company, it's like, you know, we have our managers and then we have like our tenured employees who've been there longer and then our new guys. So the power is kind of broken up like that. It's like a little chain of command.
yeah,
So we always like to think about our team like in basketball terms. We all, well, not all of us, but a lot of us play basketball. So everything's, we like to think about our business like
yeah.
basketball. You know what I mean? So
That's good, man. That's good. Has that worked out so good? Like, has there been any issues within the actual, I guess, business where you had to kind of switch shit up to,
oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I think that we're, you know, like earlier on when when we would encounter problems and we weren't sure how to, you know, fix it, you know, we just rearrange. And then once you've encountered so many problems, once they come to you, it's like, all right, cool. I know how to react to it. I know how to quick it. I
yeah,
know how to change the tempo. So just like the social media thing, you know, TikTok, when I guess it got popping like last year or 2 years ago. So I was like, man, I need to
yeah,
figure
yeah.
this out. So our social media regimen changed. We were all Instagram, like just on Instagram, no Twitter, a little bit of YouTube, but it was kind of inconsistent. So TikTok, I was like, all right, we have to take this serious. So that was like a big learning curve for us. But I'm glad, you know, we all took the time to
Mhm.
learn how to make TikToks.
You got a pretty big following, right? What would you
Uh,
say your followers are at right now?
on TikTok, I know I'm like I got like 50K.
Yeah.
And then Instagram's like 30 something,
Mhm.
and then the shop page is like 20K. Yeah.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Thanks.
no, yeah, that's pretty good because I know with I my personal experience as far as what I'm seeing is a little bit harder to get followers on Instagram versus TikTok because
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
I don't know, I'm assuming it's the algorithm. Like people are just finding videos or some way they have
No,
it
yeah,
set
I
up
think it's
where,
definitely an algorithm. Sorry,
no, you're
algorithm
good.
thing.
You're good, you're good. Where people are just following so easily. Like they just
Yeah.
find your content based off, I'm assuming, whatever they have interest
Yeah, so
based on
like the
what.
way TikTok works is like it just sees what videos you like and then it feeds you a bunch of that. Like it'll just show you more content that's like that. So I think it's definitely easier to get followers on TikTok versus Instagram.
Yeah. Now it's weird to even say that, right? Because at one point in time there was Instagram was uh
Everything
yeah,
like
everything. The end all be all, I would
mhm.
say, until man, what would you say, the pandemic, right? Because I think that's
Yeah, I think so.
when
That's like
TikTok
when it
blew up.
really
Yeah.
took off.
Oh shit, man. I want to transition into two dates. So the first date is December 24th, 2019.
Yeah.
Your shop got broken into,
Yeah, yeah.
which is huge setback.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that experience, and what was the bounce back like? Because that's tragic, man.
Yeah, yeah. Man, so yeah, 4 in the morning, get a call from our like our little security system. I didn't have cameras at the time. Like our old store was not at the level of professionalism that we
Yeah,
have now. Now our thing is like a guarded fortress. We got alarms, whatever. So anyway, they break in, they take like $8,000 worth of stuff, and this was like Christmas time. So we're
yeah,
like, damn, like we really couldn't afford that hit. So yeah, we go to the store, kind of recover what we could, clean up, and then we let our followers know. And I mean, almost instantly, everyone just showed up for us, man. So our followers have always showed us a bunch of love. I mean, people were bringing us lunch and, you know,
jeez,
sending
yeah,
us money, man. So honestly, we got broken into, but it just showed like how strong the community that we've kind of, I don't want to say built, but have kind of fostered and
Yeah.
put together is just really showed up for us. So I mean, like we started up a GoFundMe, and in a week we just recovered all of our losses. So I really think that situation was just like a sign from the universe. Like you guys aren't the same little store on West Russell anymore. Like you got to take security measures. You got to be
Mhm.
mindful that there's people out there who will do stuff like that. So
Yeah, man, that is, like I said, it's tragic just because, and I'm not saying that Christmas is a holiday that is like it just sucks because it's around Christmas time. That's the best way to put it.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
it's just a time of where everybody's just, I guess, together. But nah, man, when I saw that, shit, this was, yeah, 2019, and it was crazy to see the type of just like you said, the type of community that you helped, whether if it was clothes, whether if it was people coming in the shop. Because another thing too that I want to talk about is the $5 bag thing, or the
$5. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
$5 sale that you have. Like, that's fucking huge. Where do you go that sells badass shirts for $5? Like,
yeah.
I'm sure there's a few places, and you are one of them. So that's just another way you kind of making that connection with people. So when, I mean, granted, shit like that is kind of sucks when it happens, but when it does, you know there's a people that you can count on for support.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, man. And it was, like I said, it definitely sucked being broken into, but we recovered so quickly and our people just showed us so much love that we are like, this is just a sign from the universe. This had to happen so that way we know to just level up, and understand that we're growing and um yeah,
Yeah,
like we
yeah.
just got to start moving differently.
So that happened in 2019.
Yeah.
2020, I would say like March-ish, pandemic happened.
Right.
So with the business where you have face-to-face interactions, that was kind of just shut off
Yeah.
like almost immediately.
Yeah.
And that just, I mean, obviously, even now, we're still in a pandemic. There's people still getting COVID and people still passing away, and it's a horrible situation. But when businesses had to shut down, there was obviously a lot of revenue just missed. So
Yeah.
how was that for y'all? When did you have to take more to social media? Like, how was
Yeah,
that?
yeah, dude. So, I mean, pandemic hits, everyone's closing. I mean, at first I was like, oh God, the shop's my baby. It's like I'm there every day.
Yeah,
I was heartbroken. I really tried to stay open for as long as I could before I was just like, okay, like this is a risk. Like I don't want anybody getting sick. We don't know anything about the virus at this point. There's
yeah,
no information. Just we know people are, getting sick. Some are passing. So we're just like, oh man, close it up, put everything in big little tubs, take everything to my garage, and I just took it back to the old way, man, just selling on Instagram. And you would think that we would see a decline in sales, but everyone was home, everyone was getting free money. Like, man, I ran up a bag in the
no, yeah.
pandemic, dude.
So that's what I was gonna get to. Is like there was so much money made during COVID
Yeah,
just because of employment, just different resources to that different people or the government was giving out. Where people, I don't remember the statistic that I saw, but there was so many millionaires made during the pandemic,
yeah,
which is fucking insane.
yeah,
That weren't, and stop it all off. They're shit, probably even younger than most people are, like 19, 20.
yeah.
And that's the craziest part is like you can build or you can have a product that that you sell on a Shopify website, and it's just,
Drop
yeah,
shipping, like there's all,
that
man.
too. That was huge during the pandemic. Amazon is another place you can actually do fulfillment from, and
Yeah,
people were making bags through that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man, it trips me out the amount of money people made during the pandemic. But I mean, you were stuck at home, and
Yeah,
there's kind of
yeah.
nothing else to do.
Yeah, so, like, I mean, when I had to go home, I just kinda converted my garage into, like, my little store, and, I would just post online all day, and then I started doing, like, live sales. So
Oh,
I'd get on
gotcha.
live with another vintage reseller, and we would just go piece for piece, like, "Hey, guys, I have this shirt, it's $60, hit me up," and then, and do that for, like, an hour, and then get back to everybody, and, I mean, I would do that every night, and I was making 200, 1,000 a night just going live saying, "Hey, I got this shirt, I got this shirt, I got this shirt."
Mhm.
So it was cool.
The next thing I want to talk about is May 1st. So that's the recent shop that you came into.
Right.
So going from the previous one into this one, Never been to it, but obviously it's there's a lot more space
Yeah.
based off what I've seen on your Instagram. So
Yeah.
how was that transition going in from something that's a little bit smaller and then into something like this?
Yeah. So, I guess post quarantine, we got back and business was booming. I mean, people were
Yeah.
happy to be back shopping. So, um, just got with the team and I was like, look, we need to like level up. Like, we need to get a real legit store. Not to say that our store wasn't legit before, but I mean, we weren't doing inventory. There's just a lot of things that we weren't doing. And to me, it was just like a mom and pop shop kind
Hmm.
of store. I was like, man, I want like a real brick and mortar. Like if you go to Kith or if you go
Yeah.
to, one of these real big stores. So um, I found that building. It's 4,000 square feet. And I talked to my current business partner and I'm just like, dude, I want this building. Like I see so much potential in it, but it's way bigger than
Hmm.
what we need, right? We probably need 1,500 square feet at most to do what we do. So I kind of sat on it. Then I finally went and took a look at it with our landlord and he told me the price and I was like, fuck, that's so expensive. But I don't know, kept thinking about it. So I pitched to my business partner. I'm like, dude, what if we made half of it a store and the other half we can rent it out? We can throw
Hmm.
markets, we can host concerts, we can host movie nights. And he was like, yeah, I mean, I think that would be
Hmm.
the best way to make that work because I really just wanted this building in that location, the parking lot. And we're so close with a lot of the bar owners on St. Mary's Strip. We all came up together. So it was just super important for me to be right on that
Yeah.
street, right where we're at. So we're like, fuck it, let's do it. So we get the building, really bit the bullet, like really bit the bullet. We went from paying $1,500 in rent to triple that. And so we were like, all right, we got to make this thing look
Yeah.
legit. We got to kill it. So that's what we did. So now we have the community garden, which is on the other side of our building, and that's like our event space where we
Hmm.
throw our markets, concerts, etc. So
That is
yeah,
pretty fucking crazy. I wouldn't say it's crazy because I'm sure stuff had to change. Like
yeah,
there's triple the amount on rent. So there was stuff that you just basically had to hustle, man. Cause
yeah,
you gotta figure out how am I gonna pay this every single month.
yeah,
So I'm sure there's a lot of things that you have to take care of before, or I'm not saying that you didn't, but it's just, I would assume a lot more work
yeah, yeah.
that comes
No,
with
for
it.
sure. And I felt like in that situation, I don't know. I'm so weird that I have to kind of like back myself into a corner to to do it. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
I
Like
got you. I see what you're saying.
when
Yeah.
you put yourself in that kind of position, you're just forced to figure it out. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, is it gonna work? Like, no matter what, we're gonna make this work and we're gonna figure it out. And that's just what we did. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's pretty dope, man. What would you say is the biggest thing you learned when coming into this business?
Uh into into this business. Let me see.
So it can be anything. It could be friends, it could be
Yeah,
the business, it can be the money, it can be
yeah. Dude, you know what? The biggest thing I learned about the success of my business is if you chase money, it just runs from you. Right. But if you create value, like it just comes to you. And I can't like that's the biggest thing that I've learned,
yeah.
focusing on the quality of your product, the customer service experience, and just the all around package. If you just focus in on that, don't think
Mhm.
about the money just comes.
Yeah.
So
That's what I learned too, man. Is like that's why I mean that's the biggest reason why I started this actual platform because I've always knew I wanted to create a platform. I just didn't know how. And I always knew that I guess I'm always motivated. So I always knew I wanted to give some type of value to people, whether if it was advice, relationships, family, friends. Like I was doing that already. So I was like, you know what? Let me just create something um, and put it on the internet, see where it fucking goes.
yeah.
And that's what I've noticed too is like there's literally with podcasting, there's like a low overhead. So you really don't need a bunch of money to kind of get started. But where people get attached to is the value you bring.
Yeah.
Whether, like I said, if it's advice, whether if it's your personality, like being funny. I mean, there's all types of things people catch on to. And that's what I've learned. Cause to this day, man, I'll get messages too from people I have no idea who they are. Just follow the podcast based off different guests, based off um, literally however they found the actual platform.
Yeah.
And
That's how I
Just
found you, honestly.
yeah. No, and I appreciate the follow too as well, because your shop or the movement you're creating is it's huge, man. It's
Thank you,
huge.
man.
Yeah, I'll
Appreciate
be
it.
very very honest with you because there's not a lot of people doing it the way you're doing. You have, and this is just things that I've seen. I don't even know you personally. It's just the social media part, your business thing, like you leveling up every so often based off what you think you might need in the future. Because I'm sure there's nights where you probably couldn't sleep because you're thinking about a choice
Oh,
that you
for
were
sure.
like,
Yeah.
"Fuck, is this the right thing to do?" Because I'm sure everybody does that, but even more so, you're putting into action these things that most people are afraid to do,
Yeah.
are fucking afraid to do. And
Thank
with
you.
this, yeah, of course, bro. I'm a huge supporter when it comes to people doing basically just taking risks.
Yeah.
Because what I've learned, man, and this is just personal experiences, when you have fear towards something, you're never gonna get anywhere.
No, that's
Yeah.
facts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're never gonna fucking get anywhere. But
Yeah.
um what would you say are a couple goals you have for the future with the shop, with yourself, with
Yeah.
anything?
I mean, for the shop, we definitely want to expand. We've taken a few business trips to like New York, California, Dallas. So we're kind of, planning our big expansion, but it takes time. Like
Yeah.
trying to operate in another city is super difficult. So right now we're kind of figuring out all the logistics. But I mean, personal goals, man, I just want to continue to open up more businesses. Where me and my business partner are looking at like a food cart, food trailer kind of thing
Nice, nice.
to put next to our coffee truck. So, yeah, man, I guess personal goals is just, I love business. I
Mhm.
love entrepreneurship. So yeah, that's just goals for me. Yeah.
How has that been for you? Because I mean, that's another thing. Someone that people don't really, I guess, or even school doesn't really teach, like
Yeah.
the having a business, the money side of it, the legal side of it. Because
Yeah.
there's a ton of shit that I didn't personally know about business, and it just changed my life. Like there's till this day, there's stuff that I don't know about, but I think it's where you just leveling up on
Yeah.
knowledge. So
Experience just brings you those answers,
yeah,
Everything I've learned about business, I don't think I could have learned in school because I just don't learn that way.
yeah.
I'm very hands on. I need to be in the scenario. Like I need to be in it and I need to fall down. I need to feel how that hurts,
Mhm.
in order for my mind to register it. So that's why I think school wouldn't have really worked for me. So being in my business just taught me business and it taught me how to manage other businesses and do different things.
Yeah.
So
How has the coffee shop been? How's that
oh, it's been
rolling?
really good, man, since we've opened. I mean, it's been great. People are loving it.
Are you a
Yeah.
big coffee drinker?
I am. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm real big
Yeah.
on coffee. Yeah.
I used to be, man, but that shit's kind of addicting.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
definitely addicting.
it's
Yeah.
kind of addicting, and um, most of my friends drink coffee, and man, honestly, I think coffee is kind of huge nowadays. Like, there's a lot of shops. There's a lot of I wouldn't know, but I think there's I guess just a craze around coffee from what
Yeah.
I've seen. But
I mean, honestly, dude, coffee has been like, I feel like it's the first drug ever. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
that's that people can consume.
yeah, people
Yeah,
have been crazy about coffee
yeah.
since.
Is that why you actually did it, or is just for your?
No, I mean, the idea came from one of my partners, and we all worked in the service industry as waiters. Um, and so, I mean, you just pick up different things. You learn how to cook. You get into different kinds of foods, different kinds of wines, and coffee had just always
Mhm.
been something that we're used to. So we're like, cool, do
Was
coffee.
opening that because it's a truck, right?
Yeah,
Was that opening hard? Because I know there's certain like regulations you have to go through.
yeah.
That
Yeah, for sure. So like the coffee truck is my partner's, like that's mainly his. So I got a small percentage in that, but
gotcha.
I still back it 100% because he's like my childhood friend. So I just want to see him go
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
But he's the one who works it. He's the one who put the truck all together, the layout, the design. But it definitely took him like 8 months. And then
Oh
I
shit.
mean
Yeah.
it took that long because quarantine and COVID and shit.
Mhm.
So um but it's not as hard as a process as you would think, he found the truck, it was kind of in rough shape, got it repainted, had it gutted, had all the wiring and everything he did. And I mean, basically he YouTubed the whole thing, like how to open up a
Hell
food
yeah.
truck. And then, you take it to people, they add in your sinks
Yeah.
and this and that. And so, It's not that hard. You know, you go to the city, they'll be like, all right, here's a list of requirements that you'll need to
Mhm.
pass your health inspection. So yeah,
That
it
is.
wasn't terrible. I think the timing part was kind of
Mhm.
crappy because of COVID, but yeah,
Damn. So you want to branch out and go into different cities?
yeah,
That's pretty cool, man.
yeah. I mean, our team is so huge, and I would just like our managers, our guys who have been with us for a long time. I would love to be able to send them to live in another city to manage their, you know, their own store under the company.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Do you have any people that have lived outside of Texas or San Antonio?
I don't think so.
No.
No. Mm-mm.
The only reason why I'm asking is just because
Not as adults anyway.
yeah,
Like,
because
yeah.
they would kind of, I guess, just know the scene or know, I guess, just the whereabouts of in different cities. But
Yeah, yeah.
I'm assuming it would be a little bit easier if you did. But damn,
Yeah.
what is like a? Do you have like a time frame on when that would happen?
I try not to put time, like a time on anything like that. I just work towards it and then
Yeah.
let everything just fall into motion as it needs to. You know,
Mhm.
I don't want to force it and give myself like a deadline because I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not in a super big rush. You know, everything comes when you're ready for it.
Mhm.
So
Nah, that makes a lot of sense. The question I have, shit, I would say the last question, man. With your kind of shop being vintage, how is that? What is the biggest difference you've seen over from when you started till now? Because
yeah,
obviously, in my eyes, there's vintage is huge. Like
yeah,
there's a ton of graphic tees or tees are in. That's just the kind of norm now. So you see a lot of
right.
people wearing it. But I think vintage too is just
Huge.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge.
Dude, when I first started, I mean, I was getting shirts at the thrift store for $1 to sell them at $5,
Hmm.
right? Fast forward today, there's vintage t-shirts selling for $5,000. Like
Yep.
it's crazy. I mean, we've personally sold like one vintage Marvel t-shirt, like Marvel comics,
Hmm.
for like $4,000. Just
Jesus.
one t-shirt. So, I mean, vintage is crazy, man.
Mhm.
Like I remember like in 2017, people would be like, man, this shirt's $20. Like it's from the thrift store.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean? And now like people would love to get that kind of stuff for $20 now.
Mhm.
Just the demand is crazy. It's highly collectible. Um, I don't want to, I think it's kind of hit the mainstream. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah. It's become a super popular thing to collect like Pokemon cards
Oh
or,
yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? So
What do you think that was? If you do like know, like what do you think changed the whole perception on vintage?
so I think vintage has always been kind of cool. You know, I think they were selling vintage in the 70s.
Hmm.
That was from the 40s.
I see what you mean.
So I think it's always been cool. This huge boom though, I think we're like in the hype beast era. You know, people love
Yeah.
rarity. People want that exclusive. They
Yeah.
want that one of one. So that's just kind of where it's at. I think that's my personal opinion on it.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate you coming down here and taking the time. It always trips me out where um, I go in and ask somebody about coming onto my platform and they agree. Like
Yeah.
never in a million years where I thought people would come onto this on an actual platform that I created personally,
Yeah.
where we can just sit down and have a real pure conversation about each other's lives, and
Yeah.
it'll go from there. But
Dude, I'll tell you what, like I gravitated towards on your podcast is one of your guests. So I saw Roland was on here
yeah, yeah,
and then I saw Alan and you know, those are friends of mine. So I was like, man, okay, this is cool. But your setup and your level of professionalism, the
hmm,
equipment, like I've been asked to be on podcasts before, but I'm just like, I want to make sure that it's
hmm.
with the right person and not just, you know, a couple of dudes just talking into a microphone. You know
Bro,
what I mean?
yeah, man, I appreciate that,
Yeah.
man. They Roland and Alan are two fucking phenomenal people,
Yeah.
man. Like, they're just friends of friends, and Alan is insane human being. Like the shit that we're
Yeah.
talking about on the podcast is just wild to me because never in a million years could I see myself going through the shit that he was going through. Roland was just another buddy of mine that I got introduced from a previous podcast,
Yeah.
and he's a fucking down to earth dude too as
So
well.
cool,
Yeah,
man.
he is so down to earth. His music is dope too as well. So that's the thing with this too is um, I'm not even gonna front when there's certain people that want to be on this platform and I just have to say no just because of the type of shit that I see or the type of stuff that I posting or I mean I've never been a type of guy to do that, but I just wouldn't want to have that on this platform. So
Right.
it's very hard to tell people no, because I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
What if this is like
The
what
next,
if,
the next
yeah.
person to blow up or something.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool that you pick and highlight people who are like really doing stuff in the
Mhm.
city. You know, like Alan is
Yeah.
crazy. I feel like he's one of the best artists
Mhm.
in the city. So I think it's really cool to shine some light on him and Roland too. You
Yeah.
know,
My whole thing, man, is San Antonio, and I've said it before, is very, very underappreciated when it comes to shit like this. Obviously, we're in Texas, Houston, Dallas. Those are bigger cities
Yeah.
where I feel like there is a lot more gravitational pull towards them.
right?
Celebrities, I mean, just
Dude.
anything in general when it comes to those cities. And
Yeah.
San Antonio is just looked down upon. So I'm like, man,
Dude, you know what? Like, I really used to feel like this, like, oh, San Antonio, we're so small, we're so behind.
yeah,
But I don't know. The bright side of that, man, is you get to be that person who creates
mhm,
the wave, who gets to pave the path. You know, so it's like there's a huge benefit to being
Yeah.
from somewhere smaller, especially in my business. Like, if you go to Houston, there's 100 stores just
Yeah.
like it, right? Here we are. I mean, there's other stores in our city that are like ours too, but there's just such an advantage to starting small. We built our community. We
Mhm.
have, you know, I don't know.
No, yeah, I get you, man. And that's the, I didn't even realize that there's a benefit to this, because obviously when I have full faith that this city is going to be crazier than ever than in 10, 15 years. Like
Hell yeah.
there's so many people doing so many things, huge things.
Hmm.
And I think that's where I came in, where I'm like, you know what? I want to shine light on James, because his vintage shop, his sneaker shop is doing the thing, man. Like
Thank you, man. Thank you.
it's one thing to say like you're doing it, but it's another thing to say when, for me at least, that you're putting in the action, bro. And that's what I've seen. So
Thank you, man.
shout out
Thank
to
you.
you, bro.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. We're big on that at the Vaulty. Like, if we talk about something,
Mhm.
like if we have a sit down and we're like, oh, we should do this, it's like, all right, we're doing this. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And we're not going to just talk about it. Like, I really hate talking about things and giving it like an hour's worth of energy to like go nowhere with
Mhm.
it. You know, that's just a huge waste of time, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So whenever we have an idea, man, we're really quick to just be like, all right, cool. This is what we're doing. And that's the pace we like to work at. Like, just cool.
Have you ever, one last question, bro.
Yeah.
Have you ever, has that ever backfired? Because
For sure. Yeah.
How has
For
that
sure.
been like bouncing back from that? Because obviously you get some experience from that, right?
Yeah. I mean, our pace is something that we've had to kind of get better at over the years, right? So I think
your pay?
our pace.
Oh,
The
pace.
pace that
Okay.
we work at.
Gotcha.
Because for sure, you know, starting early, I was just like, oh yeah, let's get this store. Instead
Yeah.
of looking at other stores or looking at other options, I was just like, no, this is the one. Let's do this. Let's do this. So there's a lot of decisions that I made like super quick. And then I just started to like distinguish, okay, there's some things that you can decide on pretty quickly,
Mhm.
but there's other things that you have to give a little more time to.
Yeah.
So, but I think that where we are at now, we're just able to operate at a quick pace. Like, we know our game, we know our playing field. And so we're just able to work quick.
You do it very seamless, bro. Oh, that makes a lot of sense, man. Shit, bro. Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to say before we get up out of here? Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
What's your Instagram handle, or if your handles on social media?
Oh yeah. So goodmorning.james on Instagram and TikTok.
Mhm.
Yeah. Formerly 210 Vintage Thrift, but just decided to rebrand
Yeah.
my personal page, make it more of like a vlog style.
What
Yeah.
is the Vaulty? What's the Instagram handles for that?
Oh yeah. So the Vaulty is the Vaulty.us. And then the coffee truck is shinecoffee.texas. So
Yeah, man. Once again, man, shout out to James one more time for coming on to the actual podcast. Huge. He's doing huge things, man, within the actual city. If you haven't been to the Vaulty yet, we'll go together, because I've actually never been to the Vaulty. So, man, one of these days I'll pop off at the fucking Vaulty. I'll message you, bro, just to
Dope. Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of see if you're there, just so I can stop by and see what you got going on. But
Cool.
man.
Dude, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
man.
bro, I
This
appreciate
is
you.
awesome.
Appreciate you. Yeah, if you're still watching, appreciate you. Listening on all platforms. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Do me a favor, subscribe, hit that fucking notification bell, because I've been on a tear right now within the last couple months. YouTube video every single month, which is before, like I was saying, it was hard, but we're doing it and we're back on track now. So subscribe, and episode 61. We'll see you next time. Peace, people.
Peace.